Valorant is a free-to-play tactical hero shooter that was developed by Riot Games and released on PC in 2020. Recently, it was released onto the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S in June of 2024. It's currently one of the most popular free-to-play games on both console and PC, with millions of people playing it each month. So, what is Valorant like for new players, and what makes it so popular? We're going to answer that question in this review. Thanks for checking out my channel, and make sure to like the video and subscribe for more content. Imagine Counter-Strike and Overwatch got together and had a child. Valorant has the weapon selection, movement speed, gunplay, and tactics of Counter-Strike with the hero abilities and teamwork requirements of Overwatch. It's the type of game that seems simple in premise, but takes a long time to master. On paper, the game modes are simple. You basically have deathmatch and an objective-based attack and defense mode, where one team is attempting to set up a bomb called a spike in a marked location, while the opposing team tries to stop them or defuse the bomb after it is set. There are variations, with deathmatch being free-for-all or team-based. The attack and defense mode all involve planting or stopping a team from planting the spike, with differences in modes mostly being if the game is ranked or unranked, how many rounds you want to play, or how long you want those rounds to be. It seems a simple premise and pretty light on game modes, but that's only on paper. In reality, learning the maps and developing tactics, working as a team, mastering your character abilities, coordinating those abilities with other characters, and learning the weapons all make Valorant an easy game to pick up and play, but one that rewards long-term players that master it. Let's delve a little bit deeper into the weapons and shooting of Valorant. If you've played Counter-Strike or Counter-Strike 2, it's going to feel familiar. There's precision and the particular way that the guns in Counter-Strike fire and aim that is really unique to it. Valorant is very similar. Weapons are wildly inaccurate compared to, say, Call of Duty or Battlefield. It's not the snap speed of ADS or the type of attachment on your gun that makes a difference in Valorant. Valorant's guns are heavily affected by movement while shooting and recoil. It's a key part of the game, which makes body positioning and movement an important consideration when firing. When you move, your guns are impacted by it. Your aim, which may not have been great to begin with, suddenly becomes very terrible. In Call of Duty, for example, you're almost taught to run as fast as possible all the time, since closing with your enemies and snapping around to get quick kills is part of the game. If you're slow to react, slow to move, or you don't know the levels, you're dead. In Valorant, moving quickly is punished by having your weapons become nearly useless. You need to be very deliberate in how you move, because any moment you may need to stop and aim at an enemy. With short time to kills, it's generally whoever reacts first and has better aim that wins. That's a key point with Valorant, the short time to kill. It hardly matters what weapon you use, whether it's a high-powered sniper rifle, a shotgun, or an SMG, the time to kill is always fairly short. You can hardly take more than a couple bullets before dying. And your health and shield doesn't regenerate, so it doesn't matter if you do find cover after being shot at. When selecting your preferred weapon loadout, instead of damage, you're going to be looking at things like accuracy, whether your weapon is silenced or not, the effective range it works at, and if you can even afford to buy it. Let's talk about the accuracy. As I already mentioned, movement affects your accuracy, but so does kneeling or standing, aiming down sights or firing from the hip, or how long you hold down the trigger. This is standard for most shooters, but it's dialed up in Valorant. It makes you think tactically, especially when you're in a loadout screen. In Valorant, just like Counter-Strike, you need to buy your weapons at the start of each round. You're given a very specific amount of money at the beginning, meaning you are restricted on what you can purchase. The first round of the game generally starts with handguns, then you improve from there. If you win that round, you keep your guns, leaving you more money for the next round. If you die, you lose what you had and you're back to a pistol. Obviously, you can save your money for something more expensive, or you can beg your teammates for items. Interestingly, you can also buy your character's abilities from this screen as well. And just like your weapons, you lose those abilities if you die. Everything in Valorant is meant to be thought of tactically. What weapon you should use based on the map you're playing, the match type, whether you're attacking or defending, Or maybe your position in your team. Are you hanging in the back more, or are you right up in front where the action is hottest? Valorant isn't just about finding the gun you like or handles the best for your playstyle. A lot of the weapons are very situational, and selecting the right weapon is a big part of this game, as it is being skilled at shooting. If the shooting is like Counter-Strike, then the characters are similar to Overwatch. There are a ton of characters to choose from, and this isn't like a game where the characters are only skins. These agents are really different from each other. First off, the characters fit into an archetype, basically the type of role they're going to play in a team. They sort of dictate your play style and how you should approach certain situations. There are controllers who, you guessed it, control the battlefield. They block off areas of the map, hinder sightlines, or even flank areas if needed. Duelists are the best at offense. Their abilities are geared towards breaking through enemy defenses. So if you're playing the attackers, they are good to have. Defenders, maybe not so much. Initiators are like scouts. They provide your team with information. They might mark targets on your map for your team, or leave cameras in certain areas so you can keep an eye out. Then there are the sentinels that are the defensive type. Within each of these archetypes, the characters have different abilities, but are all within that role. But they may be different from the others in that same archetype. For example, a controller may block off an area with a solid barrier, or say a harmful line of fire, or maybe even an orb of darkness that you can't see through. It allows players to have a certain kind of role, but in the way they want to play it. I should briefly mention the microtransactions while I'm talking about this, since weapon skins and agents are the two things you're probably going to be spending money on. First off, you can unlock all the agents for free just by playing. Sure, it may take a while, but they can be earned that way. But if you have Xbox Game Pass and are playing on the Xbox Series X or S, you get all the agents for free through Game Pass along with some other perks. If you want to buy the agents, it's 1,000 points, or $10 US. The second microtransaction is weapon skins, and this is where the game takes a turn. Valorant isn't pay to win, so there's no buying a supreme weapon and killing everyone. You buy skins for weapons, and these things can be pricey. They can range from a few US dollars to 20 or even 30, depending on the rarity. If you do want to spend money on Valorant, the game doesn't throw these microtransactions at you every chance it gets. But if you do want to look at these weapon skins, they are pretty cool at times. But whether that's worth the price tag or not, that's completely up to you. Moving on to the maps, they are pretty well designed and balanced. Each control point has a few different ways of approaching them, and I never once said, damn, when I saw a particular map come up. Graphically, Valorant runs very well. I didn't have any frame drops, and the FPS is high and smooth on the consoles. Artistically, the game has this sort of cel shade graphics that works well in making everything bright and cartoony, while also allowing the devs to not add too much detail to bog down the FPS. It's a good balance, and I liked it. Let's do the pros and cons of Valorant. For the pros, the game looks and runs great. The gameplay is fast-paced combat and high stakes, with these long bouts of sneaking and slowness that makes your heart pound when you do encounter an enemy. Everything felt really balanced. Having a good team and good tactics is not only encouraged, but almost required, and there are plenty of people online, so it's not hard to find a match. The microtransactions aren't pay to win, and they aren't thrown in your face. There are a lot of characters to choose from, and your choice really does affect your playstyle. For the cons, weapon skins can be really expensive. There are only a few game modes available, so if you don't like them, there isn't much else to play. Tactics are required, making it difficult if you enjoy playing solo or without a mic. It's a tactical shooter, meaning you aren't a one-man army like you would be in COD. You need to play together and play smart. And that's it. I don't really have much to say about Valorant, other than that it's a very good and competent shooter if you enjoy that tactical experience and you want to play it on console, since Counter-Strike 2 is PC only. Valorant is free to check out right now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and of course, PC. I'm the Casual Console Gamer, and I'll see you all in the next review.